All right, here we go. Season 2, number 3. Number 3, Dougie.
It is.
Number 3.
Yeah, time goes by fast.
We got my buddy back with me, Bobby Jones, obviously.
Glad to be
Second
here.
season, episode 3. We got John Boggs with us.
Yes, sir.
Johnny, been with me a long time in the RBI world. Matter of fact, Doug, I got 3 coaches, or used to be coaches, in regional teams for RBI. Jay even coached. We got Jay with me, my son, who hooks us up with all this. And then we got Mr. Mike Gunyon, just retired from the Sheriff's Department. But really feel blessed and thankful that they're here today with us and do this number 3. And I think we're going to talk about the Colts like a dog this week. We've been kind of on a Colts high wagon there, or whatever you want to call it, on high. But I think we're back to reality now. What do you think?
You know what? I mean, being a Colts fan, I'm always going to kind of err on the side of winning. I'm smart enough to watch and see, if they're doing what I think they need to be doing.
Right.
So that's part of the fun of watching football is dissecting it a little bit on your own.
So just to bring everybody up to speed, when we first started this season, a couple weeks back, about a month ago or so, me and Doug kind of went out on a limb on what we thought the Colts were going to do this year. And we knew they had a tie, and I think I went 10-6-1. You went 9-6-1 or so, or 9-5 or whatever.
9-7-1.
But we've only won one game out of the last 3 since then.
Right.
Now, Johnny over here is a big-time, I think I might have told you, Doug, big-time Dallas Cowboys fan. Is that right, John?
That's true, but I'm also just like an all-around football expert. So I got very.
Are you an expert?
I'm an expert.
Take it from the Cowboys fan.
If you don't believe me, just ask me.
He's an expert.
But I do have my feelings on the Colts and what the problem is with the Colts.
Well, let's hear it real
and,
quick before we get to Mr. Gunyon here.
Well, this probably be unpopular, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Colts fan base. I think is a lot of the issue.
You think the fan base is
I think the fan base is the issue. And the reason I say that is the minute the Colts team start losing, the fans jump ship and they bail out on them.
Well, I'm a little harsh right now, but I'm not ready to bail. But go ahead.
You think we harp on Irsay too much and he listens?
Nah, I don't know.
No.
But I just – here's the thing. I think the Colts can't do what they really need to do because of the fans, because they're scared of it. Because let me tell you this, just like when Andrew Luck retired, the first thing I started hearing?
What was that?
I want my season ticket money back. Andrew Luck's not playing. So when the team's not good, the fans don't want to support them. When they're winning, they're all jumping up and down. But when they're losing. So the real problem with the Colts is you look since Andrew Luck, you had Brissett, and then they brought in Phillip Rivers. Then they brought in Carson Wentz. Then they brought in Matt Ryan. That's the problem. The problem is those guys are good enough to win you 7, 8, 9 games. So you're maybe making the playoffs, getting beat in the first round, or you're just right there on the fringe of not making the playoffs. It's the wrong thing to do. What they're doing now, playing that young guy, is the right thing to do. Lose. The team's got to suck. You got to be bad. The reason Indiana football got on the map is because they brought Peyton Manning in here out of the draft, and he carried them and propelled them into the next level. As long as you're in that mediocre range, you can't get better. You got to suck. Problem is, if the Colts suck, they're going to get no fan support. They're going to lose money because nobody's going to show up at the stadium.
What I think is they're trying to pull what Elway did off. And they've seen what they did with Peyton, and they go, okay, we're going to pour all of our money into young guys except a quarterback, and we're going to take him. We know he's only going to be good for 1 year, but we want to get a ring.
Now, we know that's worked the previous 2 years, though.
Yeah.
Correct?
So the
last 2 quarterbacks that have a ring spent 1 year with the team
none of them
they were
had
with.
a ring. None of them had a ring.
Yeah, Brady had one.
I'm talking about.
But he
Matt
was
Stafford.
Okay, but I'm saying.
Oh yeah, Stafford to the
we're-
Rams.
we're right now we're debating the recipe, right?
Brady.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
the
right
recipe works.
recipe.
Yeah.
It has proven to work other places.
Can't see Doug.
I don't.
It's bugging me.
Yeah. Right on. I don't agree with it here. At the very beginning of the season, I thought, well, if we're not going to be able to keep the quarterback we had last year, let's quit chasing these old guys,
Yes.
right? We need a guy for 2 or 3 years. So at the
So
very
John's
beginning
a
of the
fan
year,
of the old-fashioned way.
I
Draft
was-
them and develop them.
Well, now, don't get me wrong. If the Colts could have brought in Aaron Rodgers this season,
We brought in the
do
wrong old
that.
guy.
Yeah, yeah. Like you're saying, Jay, that's what the teams have been doing. If the Colts were bringing in Tom Brady or Matthew Stafford, okay, now you're ready to go.
Yeah, Irsay thought that Matt Ryan had too much in the tank. He didn't.
Yeah, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, they're not going to win. Phillip Rivers, you weren't going to win with those guys.
No.
But
Now I tell you what, I think if Phillip Rivers could have stayed in one more year,
I've always hated Phillip Rivers.
I'm
As
never
a real Colts fan,
never-
you have to.
never
It was
been
the weirdest thing we brought him in.
yeah.
Our
yeah.
culture of Indianapolis, we
Yeah.
all know, hate Phillip Rivers, and they brought him in.
Yeah.
The weird ass arm.
But I mean,
angle.
honestly, he was at that time. He played good.
he did good.
I mean, I'm still not satisfied with the coaching and how we're approaching each game. I'm still not satisfied there. So as a Colts fan, I'm not jumping ship, but I'm not seeing the product on the field that I think we need. If you're going to bring in if you're going to play a rookie, not a rookie, but he is really his second game NFL player. If you're going to bring in a guy at this level, I'm good with it, right? But your main focus right now needs to be protection. He cannot be scared. If he starts getting gun shy, get rid of him. It's over, right? So if you're not protecting the quarterback, and we are not, and I'm not saying offensive line. I'm still stuck on we're not designing.
Was that a GM
plays
problem?
to
That's not.
protect. I don't know who calls the plays. We fired the offensive coordinator. We'll see how that plays out, right? I mean, I wasn't happy with the offense. I wasn't.
Right.
So if he's the guy saying I'm going to do it, and you don't, then you got to go.
Let me ask my buddy here, Mike Gagnon. Mike, we're gonna give him a little bit of credit. He don't follow football. I know all of us here are pretty deep into the fantasy football, so we're probably a little bit ahead of the game here. But I'm gonna ask Gagnon this question. You just heard what John had to say. Do you buy what he had to say as far as you think? Do you just outside looking in? Do you think the Colts fans are some of the problem? What do you think?
To be honest, I really don't know about the Colts fans being a problem. Again, I don't pay that much attention anymore. When I was younger, I followed all the sports, and I knew I followed everything. My observations on the Colts problems, and this has been ongoing since Peyton Manning was a quarterback, just what you just said, but you weren't talking about it, was the offensive line. You win and lose football games at an upper level with the line, defensive and offensive.
Correct.
If you've got a good defensive line in today's game, which is a pass-happy game, then your linebackers and your safeties can take more chances and keep on people better.
Yeah.
Double team them. But that's been the Colts' problems since Peyton Manning was. The thing that saved Peyton Manning was they eventually got some good blockers, but when they won the Super Bowl, what propelled them to the Super Bowl that
defense.
year?
Their
Absolutely.
secondary defense.
And Sanders.
Sanders.
Sanders was the baddest mother that ever played that position.
Attaboy.
Sorry.
Sounds like he knows a lot to me.
Yeah.
Well, I observe things still, and I'm at the Colts games sometimes working, and I see things. If you don't have an offensive line to protect your quarterback, you're not going to. You could have anybody as the greatest quarterback ever, but if he doesn't have time to get rid of the ball and he's getting hit 10 out of 11 times, he's dropping back to throw, he's going to become gun shy. That's what happened to Andrew Luck. The thing that saved Peyton Manning was he was the greatest Johnny Unitas was my favorite of all time, but he was the greatest drop back quarterback I ever saw, because by the time he dropped back, it wasn't just 3 steps, it was 10 yards. He had those long legs, and he got rid of the ball quickly, but it gave him more time to get away. And then eventually they did get some better blockers in there.
So let me pose a question then. So
Okay.
you guys don't think that anywhere in the Colts thought process or in their thinking right now that they put this young guy in there to do just what I said?
Ellinger, yeah.
You don't think he's in there because he's talking about if he don't play good that he do. I think they don't want him to play good. If I'm a Colts fan, I don't want him to play good. I want to win 2 or 3 games. This year.
See, I'm wanting this kid to play
My
good.
thing is
because I'm always looking at the next. Who's the next great thing, right?
What was our hold on though.
I don't know.
Hold on.
Right. His
I'm
name
gonna
doesn't
take
scream
John's. I'm gonna take John's
hero.
back. I'm gonna take John's back real quick. What was our record when we decided to take Matt out?
1 and something.
No.
No. We were 3 and
500.
Yeah, we were 3 and 3 and 1.
500.
Yes.
And we decided to take our starter out. And this quarterback, mind you, on paper, is the number 1 passing quarterback in the league. Believe it or not, Matty Ice had the most recorded passing yards.
Well, There
and
again-
we're 500.
Right.
So to Boggs is what he was saying earlier is I think he's correct here. Everybody's crying on social media. We're not the best. We're not the best. So what do? These guys see this stuff on social media. Believe it or not, these
Right.
GMs, Ursay, they do.
That's a
so they
shame.
hear the fans and they're like, you know what? We're not doing what everybody wants.
So you think the organization obviously just pays too much attention to the fans?
Yeah, I do. I think so.
I think they're smart. I mean, that's what I would do. If it's the culture of my team, I don't want to win another game this year. Because I'm looking at the long-term solution. Okay, win 7 games here or 8 games and get to the playoffs and get beat in the first round, or don't win another game this year and go draft the next Peyton Manning.
But how do you coach to lose?
Who's the next Peyton Manning?
How do you do that?
You
how
don't-
do you
you
how do
don't-
you coach to lose?
Well,
I mean,
We did it that year with
winning's
Painter.
in your heart. If you're telling me that you can go out there and coach players to lose, that's a different style of coaching.
do you
What-
don't think I can tell you 50% of the teams
2000
in professional sports try to lose?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying as a coach.
The Colts
I
did that
couldn't
not too
do
long
it.
ago. The Colts
Hell,
did that. With
I play in a
Curtis
golf
Painter.
league and I can't even tank on my
But-
score.
But you know what? You don't.
So I'm not going to be
You
able
just
to
do
tank
that
on
naturally,
is-
don't you, Bob?
And the thing
Well-
is, but here's what you got to realize: the players aren't out there playing to lose. The coaches aren't out there coaching to lose. It's the management, the upper management. They want to lose.
Yeah, they're like, these guys are already losing. We'll let them lose. We're not even going to help them.
Or you don't put you put, hey, I'm gonna put you in here, but you're not as good as him, so you're gonna give all your effort. But I know your effort's not good enough to win, so you put them out there.
Before we got started today on this podcast, I asked you, Johnny, and I'm going to shift gears here just a little bit. I asked you what IU basketball was going to be like this year.
Yeah.
And you told me you thought it was going to be pretty good. I guess my question is, why do you say that?
Well, I don't know a lot about the recruitment class this year. I haven't got that far yet because I'm still in football and coming off baseball. I'm a Phillies fan, so we just got beat last night in the World Series. So
Yeah, you got to give props to Dusty, though. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I am happy for Dusty Baker to win the World Series. But so I haven't really started my IU kick yet. I'm deep into Notre Dame football, deep in the NFL season. So, but just overall, Mike Woodson, just the complete culture turnaround and change last year from what you've seen previously.
Did it surprise you got rid of Dane?
I don't know. I don't know the
Did they
dynamics.
bump heads, or do you know anything
Yeah,
about
I
it?
don't know the dynamics. I don't know the
I hated to see
inner workings
Dane go because
He
even
was
though Dane was
one
from
of ours.
Michigan, he was
Yeah.
definitely one of ours.
Yeah, he was a Hoosier at heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I don't know the dynamics of that or how that took shape.
Do they have a lot of guys? Their main scorer is that Del Davis's kid.
Still,
Yeah,
I would think
Trace
so.
Jackson, he's back, and Reese Thompson, he's back, right? Those two were dominant, so they're going to be good.
So they're going to be pretty good in the Big Ten. Who's picked to win the Big Ten? Do you know by chance?
I don't know. I haven't seen it
And I
yet.
got that into
But
it.
but over the course of the last few years since Woodson took over, he's definitely
got the culture and got them back to winning ways.
exactly. They're They're fun
Bobby
to
Knight's
watch.
back in the house.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're and I there again, you got to give that to the coach. Same way. I don't want to bring football back in it, but that's where I'm
No,
at
that's
with
fine,
it,
that's
right?
fine.
The level of you can't praise coach. It's hard to praise coaching, and you got to do. To me, that's where it starts, right? You got to draw up good game plans. This guy's got a good connection with the kids. He is definitely right. Right now, kids are not leaving Indiana. Indiana's a basketball state still. Maybe not the best in the country like it used to be, but he's getting these kids right. So, so to your point, what Woodson's doing there is fantastic, and IU, they're going to back Woodson. I'm going to back him.
Mike, who's your favorite college basketball? Who do you follow?
Well, I like IU, Purdue.
So you
two-
like Purdue too?
Oh yeah. I've been a Purdue fan since I was real little.
I'm with you, player. I follow both of them.
Rick Mount was a great shooter, though.
Yeah. Rick Mount, Billy Keller. That was a pretty good team.
Yeah.
George Faber.
You-
Who was
you-
the big 7-foot center white boy they had that couldn't handle Kareem? in the
Did you switch to the
NCAA?
Pacers on us here? Is that what you just did, or
No. I'm talking about Purdue.
Talking about UCLA and Purdue.
Yeah.
Benson?
No, that was IU.
Right.
They had a 7-foot center back in the day at Purdue.
Yeah.
Joe Barry Carroll.
No, this was that Joe Barry came after Rick Mount.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm too young. I don't
The-
know.
in in '69, there was 3 players that led college basketball in scoring. You know who they were? They all their names began with an M. Last names.
Okay, Rick Mount. I'm going with that one.
McGinnis.
Maravich was another.
It's nice.
Well, he said him, so I.
Calvin Murphy was the other.
Okay.
Mount, Maravich, and Murphy, but it was Maravich, Murphy, and Mount in the scoring order that year.
You know, Doug, I don't know if you know it or not, but Gunyon was a really good basketball player back in the day. I mean, me and you're pretty tough in that area as far as who we think's good and who we don't.
Right.
Guys we played with. You know, me and you would probably rank ourselves below average or average, maybe.
Yeah, I love the game.
But we knew the guys around. I mean,
Yeah.
so if we talked back in our era of basketball, McCarty obviously would come up.
Yep.
But I seen Mike play quite a bit. He's a little bit older than us. But did you know that?
Where'd you play at, Mike?
Gunny's real.
At one time I could play, but I
Tell
don't
us some of
have
the guys you
knees
played
anymore.
with back in the day.
Well, I went to Arlington. Rodney Scott was ahead of me. Wayne Radford was behind me. But on my 8th grade team, we had a guy named Mike Kirk who eventually played at Arlington, went to Florida State was 6'11", played at Arlington with those guys, Eric Nicholson and those guys, Dozzle Adams, people like that. So I got to play a lot of ball with those guys, and I got to play against Pack and McGinnis and some of those guys later on. Like to play.
Wayne
Now,
Pack. I hadn't heard that name in a while.
That area that you grew up neighborhood-wise, if you don't care, talk about that a little bit. You was telling me the other day around Arlington and where you went to school when you was young, and the boys'
was
club.
Windsor Village. It was a little park. It was a little 2-bedroom doubles, and I had 11. Well, there was only 10 of us at that time. 10 brothers and sisters living in a 2-bedroom double. People, but we were poor. We were very poor, but we never lived like we were poor. We did everything back then. It was all football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, boxing, archery, shooting. I mean, we didn't just sit on our asses. We were doing things, but basketball was always my love. Baseball was probably number 2.
Yep.
Is that Windsorville right there across from Raytheon?
Yeah, the old Naval Avionics.
Yep. Naval Avionics. Yeah.
Said if any place in the city is going to get hit and targeted,
Naval
it's-
Avionics.
Yeah.
we're all toasted here.
Well, John, if you don't mind, won't you, if you would, kind of bring me up to speed right now with DJ, how's he doing, and talk about him just a little bit. I'm pretty proud of him. I know you are, but I'm kind of proud of him too.
Yeah, so he played in New Mexico last year. He was pitching, and he just came back this year for he still actually has like 2 more years of eligibility left because of COVID. COVID threw everybody back a year. But he's pitching at Marion University this year. He's thinking this is going to be his final year. He's actually, not sure if you're aware of this, but I'm half Hispanic. His mom is half Hispanic. He's actually looking to go play pro ball in the Mexican League
That's
Really?
dope.
next year. Yeah, and that's one of the better leagues. Major League Baseball is top league. There's the league in Japan is a top league. Then the Mexican League is right below them. And he's already been contacted by the Tijuana Toros, which is the Bulls in Mexico. He's already been contacted by them, and he's sending them information, documentation now. But he's looking to go down there and play next year.
Is he pitching? Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, he's pitching.
what's up.
So he's throwing 91, 92 right now.
Oh, that's hard to do.
Yeah, so
It's hard to do.
He's trying to get up to consistently, throwing 94, 95, then hit 96, 97. So he's still.
So everybody that don't know, we're talking about John's son.
I was assuming that, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful that he's chasing his dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's absolutely fantastic that he's willing to because he's making sacrifices, right?
Oh.
To go away from home
Definitely.
and chase his dream, man. God bless him.
It's a lot of sacrifices. I can speak from experience.
Yeah.
It's a lot, especially at that
Well,
age. It's
you
a
know,
lot.
John's done a good job with DJ. I mean, DJ, we can give him a lot of props, and he deserves them. But John's worked his tail off, too, keeping the boy in a straight line and being there for him. And John's done that with a lot of kids. I know.
I'll say I've got a lot of kids that are still playing baseball, football.
We was talking earlier
You're like
about
the black Bob Haney
Yeah.
and Hispanic.
but you coached David Bell, playing for the Cleveland. What are they?
Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, the Browns, playing for the Browns right now.
Yeah.
Jay said he was in here not too long ago, hanging out with Jay. and
We talk
some
on
good
it
people.
on Instagram, actually, me and David.
Okay. Yeah, he basically grew up at my house. I mean, pretty much every weekend he was at my house.
How's that feel raising an NFL player?
Yeah, it feels great. It feels amazing, man. It's just you can see the talent level in him. As a kid, and I can tell you a funny story about him. I'll just give you this one story because a lot of people always say, when did you guys really know that David was different? When did you guys know he was something special? And well, I mean, Warren Township, they take football so seriously.
Yeah.
So seriously.
They just won the sectionals.
Yeah.
That caught me off
I
guard.
Well, yeah, they're in a different sectional now, but yeah, they did. But I coached in the youth football league over there, and they bring the youth football league coaches in to have meetings with the high school coaches.
That's a good thing.
So that the high school coaches can filter their playbooks and all that type of stuff down, so that they're learning all this stuff as they come up through the system. But anyway, people say, when did you really know David was special? So David and DJ went to kindergarten together, so I knew David from kindergarten. And the first grade year, we were playing football, and my team was the Cowboys. David was on the Falcons, and my team was undefeated all year long. We were getting we go to the first round of the playoffs, and we matched up with the Falcons first round of the playoffs. Now, I'll tell you this, how serious youth football league is. These are first and second graders.
Yeah.
So I go to Disney, and I cut my Disney vacation short and come back a day early just so that I can coach my playoff game in the youth football league at Warren. So, but I missed practice all week. So I come back in, and we're coaching the first game and the playoff game. Second play of scrimmage in a playoff game, the Falcons hand the ball off. Some kid just takes off, bam, 65 yards down the sideline, touchdown. Now, my team was undefeated and unscored upon all year long. And I'm on the sideline just losing it. I'm just throwing a tantrum. I'm like, who the hell was that? Who was? And I'm looking at DJ. Who? He said, Dad, that's David. I said, what? I said, David from your class? Yeah, David. I said, holy shit. I said, well, he's on my team next year.
Right.
And so, but that's when I knew he was special because, I mean, it was unreal.
That's how Dad recruited half of my friends.
Yeah.
The good kid on the other team
Well,
would be on my team
you
next
got-
year. I'm like, who is this kid?
You got to have an eye for talent, man.
Yeah,
Chris-
you do. You really do. That's a good story. I know Jay probably knows this, but Doug, another thing about these two guys, Gunyon and Boggs in the RBI program, John's coached our high school team for years. So in 21, I said, John, I want to take you down a year to 15s. He said, no problem, whatever you need. So he went down, and first time, and since I've been with the program, I know 15 years, we actually went to the RBI World Series. And you talk about nice. Major League Baseball bought the old Dodger spring
Town.
training facility at Vero Beach. And we got to go down there, and you talk about history. I mean, you're seeing all the histories walking down these halls of all the old Dodgers and Lasorda, Sandy Koufax.
Jackie
and
Robinson.
we ended up third, but and Mike went along and was one of the assistant coaches. But we had a heck of a time. But John led us, and Mike's on the coach. Mike also runs our softball program right now in RBI. John runs our high school part of it. But first time we were really, which me and you talk all the time about RBI baseball,
Right.
and softball. But first time we've kind of had some RBI guys in here with me.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty proud of both these guys in our program. But John's been with me forever, and Mike's got a heck of a task on his hands right now because we really kind of committed to softball, and we're struggling a little bit. But we're gonna get it turned around, and Mike's at the helm. But what do you guys think of Vero Beach? Just tell if you don't care.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story on that. You know, we talked about my son earlier, DJ. Well, you know, he played through the RBI regionals, you know, his whole life, you know. And after 2019, he graduated. So I was done. I was like, I'm not coaching anymore. I'll turn it over and somebody else can have it. And I'm done after 2019. So then 2020 comes around. Well,
COVID.
they canceled it because of COVID. So I was like, well, so nobody stepped in, you know. And then 2021, Bob calls me and said, hey, John, we need you. You know, you mind coming back? And I was like, I don't mind doing it because I'm there for the kids, you know, and I have fun with it. I enjoy it. And then, you know, that's when I come back, and then we win the regional, and then we go all the way down to Vero Beach, Florida, which I'd never done before. So
Yeah.
I was really glad I, you know, came back for that. But like Bob said, just amazing experience overall. I was glad I got to be a part of it, and I plan on being part of it for quite some time.
You guys finally beat Detroit, or what
Yeah,
happened?
I beat
It was
Detroit.
actually the White Sox and Detroit. But go
I've
ahead.
beat Detroit 2 years in a row now.
Well, I haven't been in God knows how long, but I remember it was always Detroit.
Well,
man.
it was Detroit. They've combined the regions now.
Yeah, update me real quick.
So the White Sox.
The White Sox, the Cubs, St. Louis Cardinals, Minnesota Twins.
Oh, they bring Chicago in.
They're all in. We're like a super regional now.
Yeah, it's a super regional.
They actually take 2 teams instead of 1.
It sounds like it's better.
Oh, the White Sox are Detroit on steroids, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Real good team this
What's
year.
that about? Why can't we? Why
Well, they got like 9 million people living in the Chicago area.
we got 3?
Well, but they only take 150 kids total. We got over 1,000 kids playing ball. We're about what the program's about. These guys are picking some of the best kids in the area.
So you're saying they're cheating?
We didn't say that. We would not say that. We would not say
So,
that.
well, you're saying they're taking inner city kids, right?
Well,
My question is with RBI. I have a question. Is Warren Central? Is North Central? Is Cathedral? Is Roncalli? Are those not considered Indianapolis schools?
John did a real good job this past season. We went 3-1 in this last go round.
And we only lost to the White Sox,
who won the World Series.
Who won the World Series? We're undefeated.
And John did a real good job, Jay, to answer your question, getting those LC players, those Warren Central players. We got them in our league
I
this
just always
year.
thought it was unfair that they have to be IPS.
Well, we don't look at it like that now.
Neither does any other city. Is why is
Yeah, no, we go out. We get Ben Davis. We get Lawrence
Yeah.
Central, Lawrence North, Pike. We get them all.
Yeah.
you can sign me back up, man.
Yeah.
sign you back in, get you in the game.
Yeah, I don't know. At that level, when you've played college ball and at that high of a level, I can't just go play softball type situation. I can't take it not serious. I can't coach a kid that don't know how to field a ball already. It's hard for me.
It's hard.
I can't teach you how to field a ball. I need you to already know how to do
Now,
that
see,
so I can
that's-
coach you.
That's one of Gunyon's strengths. I've not seen too many people better than Mike.
Your strength is that too.
Yeah.
is taking a
Back in the
kid
day.
that knows nothing
It is his strength.
and developing them into something or get them started.
I'd rather worry about the lineup.
Well, I think, you want to. Well, here's the thing, and I tell you this myself too. You're more of a manager. You want to manage. the
Yeah,
game.
exactly.
A coach is like basically teaching you and showing you how to
Yeah.
do it. A manager manages a game.
I like to manage.
And I don't mind teaching a kid how to swing a bat or showing a kid how to throw a ball when I'm teaching them in first, second, third grade.
Right.
But when a kid's 16 years old,
You're in
then-
high school. I mean,
You're running a little behind.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, I think part of it is having the skill set to show them some training they can do on their own, right? If you're
But
trying to become a good baseball player,
but even those higher up kids,
you're not going to
that's
do
about-
it at practice, right?
Well-
if you're not throwing the ball, because I never played high school baseball at all.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I can go out there and whip the ball around with you guys with the best of them because growing up, I was whipping the ball around with people, right? So
Yeah.
somebody showed me how to catch the ball, how to do these things, then I went and did them. And then when I did go play baseball at Christian Park in the minors, majors, I had a little more skill set because of what I did away from the game, right?
Right.
And that's
What was you going to say, Gunyon?
Well, I'm just going to go back to we were talking about teaching kids, and
Yeah.
by the time you get to high school, most coaches expect their players. In fact, all the good schools, the kids go there. They already have fundamentals.
Yeah.
Well, you said Bobby was good at teaching these things. Last year, we had a team with basically 4 upperclassmen who had played before, but 4 of them
Is this a tech?
only one of them. Yeah, this was at Tech. We lost players, but only one of those kids is back this year, and that's Ray. But we didn't have anybody who could play outfield. We didn't. I mean, we had Marvier's a great kid, but he couldn't play. And we had about 8 or 9 kids that had never played ball before.
Yeah, don't sign me up.
We worked on fundamentals. It pissed the kids off. We worked on fundamentals. We were 2-14. This year in the same conference, we are going to surprise some people because those kids have dedicated themselves, and we've picked up a couple of really good players too.
That's awesome.
But those kids, 2 of the kids, Isaiah and Jesse, never had played ball. They are both going to be all city. They could be all city next year. They have improved that much as far as fielding. I mean, they didn't know how to throw a ball.
Yep.
Bob taught them how to throw a ball.
Exactly.
I mean,
Dad's always been good at that. That's why That's why when we were 12 and 11, we were almost undefeated and every year is because Dad would teach these kids that came in that didn't know how to play at all, and he would train them like they're me.
Yeah.
And they ended up getting good.
If we keep the team, if we get everybody
You say they
staying with
ended up
grades and
getting good,
everything,
or you
we're gonna surprise Anderson and we're gonna surprise Richmond this year.
That's good.
I
Anderson
have
would be
every
a nice win
confidence that
for
we can
Tech.
beat those. Oh yeah, I want. Well, and Anderson was a good.
I need to come out to
sports
some
us.
games this
Richmond
year.
kind of threw their best against us and destroyed us, and but we stopped his no hitter.
Did DJ go to Tech?
For 2 years. I was going to say, too, that's the thing, like with what your dad's doing with the RBI program and as the RBI, reviving baseball in the inner cities.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really realize where it had went, how this had all came about. So I was at Tech. I graduated in 1990, okay?
Yeah.
When I went to Tech High School, we played. We were a good team. We had a varsity, a JV, and a freshman team.
Yeah.
You know, you tried out for the team. We cut people. Did not realize going back there in 2018, like, you got one team.
The inner city situation with
Yeah.
the game of baseball in general.
Yeah, the game of baseball in inner city. You got one team at Tech High School.
Yeah.
If you show up for the tryout, you are on the team. You know, there's no cuts.
It must be nice.
So yeah, so just but and to go back to what Doug was saying, like Doug was saying, working on your own, getting better. That's most of these kids that you get at a Tech or an Addicts or wherever it is. The only time they touch a bat or a ball is when they come to your practice.
Yep.
When they see that.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
And that's God bless the Gunions of the world, right?
And
Who don't mind playing ball with them and you know.
Well, the group we've got now, they have taken it upon that we took our Harshman team to a game, and we get there, and I'm thinking, who are those big guys back there practicing? Is that the team we're going to play? And I'm thinking, we get back there, and it's a bunch of the Tech kids back there working on their own.
Yeah.
They have taken it upon themselves. They played spring, summer, and fall, and they have really worked hard
Wow.
Yeah.
to improve.
Yeah,
good.
That's awesome.
I mean, you remember, Jay, how many times I would give you the old rah speech, and if you ain't doing this stuff on your own, you can forget it if you're waiting on me to do it all for you. And where I'm going with that is today, even today, as we speak, those kids that Mike's talking about have gathered themselves together and are out playing a bunch of adults in a game. And me and Mike has nothing to do with it, and I want to make sure I clarify that.
right.
They're playing against
Nothing to do with
guys
it.
that played in that
But
men's
we-
Hispanic league, and like John was saying, his boys going to play. If you go to watch that Hispanic league on a Sunday afternoon, the baseball is pretty damn good.
Yes.
I mean, it really is. Those guys back up.
Well,
They
you
know
know-
what to do.
It's a different game for them.
Yeah.
It's much more intense. It's better baseball to watch.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What what you guys are doing is creating a platform for these kids to do exactly what you just said, right? Get out here and compete. Get out here and play the game, right?
I mean-
and have fun, because you're never going to be 13 again.
It was
Eventually the real world is going to hit some of them, and hopefully they've
it
learned
was
some
a
Yes.
really
good experiences and learned how to be coached, right?
Yeah, once you're through with high school, generally you're going to be done with ball unless you play some
Yep.
slow pitch softball or something.
Exactly.
Or
we
you
had a
might go
really
to college.
tough season last year, but me and Mike's talked quite a bit about it. We think this year it's going to be a lot of fun, and I just think we're lucky that we've got a group right now, and very rarely do I've ever seen it happen where they're coming together to a point where, my dad always used to say, Bobby, if people are really successful in life, 9 times out of 10 it's because it's come from within them. And I think we got a bunch of young guys right now that's coming from within.
Yep.
And we're going to be along for the ride.
Yeah, but you guys have helped plant that seed there
That's-
again, right?
that's true.
You've given them a nice platform to get out and do this stuff, right? These guys want to get out here and compete, and they want to enjoy the game of baseball.
Yeah, you
And
got to want it yourself.
You guys have set a nice but you know what? When you go to compete, it helps build that I want it myself, right? I get out there and I get my first hit. You know what? I want to practice my hitting. That felt good. You know what I mean?
Right.
And really, what you guys are doing for these kids, as many kids as you guys are touching, man, that's
Yeah, we had over
amazing.
1,000 kids in the program this year. So all 3 of us that are here that's involved right now, we're pretty proud of that.
Can we talk Pacers for a second?
Well, I was getting ready to shift gears on you. That's where I was going
Well,
next.
yeah,
And I was going to ask you
could
about
I say
that guy.
could I say
All
one thing about Vero Beach and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I wasn't really part of the team, but John let me go with him. He needed I guess you needed one more coach to go or something, and he let me go. So I went. I was there. Well, I was there, and I enjoyed it. I tried not to interfere with decisions or anything, but I did try to work with some kids when they were doing something, especially Dalton when he was warming up to pitch that game where I thought he did a great job, except for that 2-run home run. But anyway, it was a great time. I got to know John, and I appreciated that. I appreciated Bobby giving me that opportunity because it really meant a lot to me. My last thing I'm going to say about John is he's a good role model, just like Bobby, good role model for those kids, but he threw me out of a baseball game one time, and it wasn't even me.
Yeah, when exactly was that?
Oh, God, 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
What kind of softball game? What kind of
No,
game was it?
baseball. I was coaching Pal
I
Club.
was umping one on the back diamond. He was coaching Pal Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
You
happened?
threw him out.
Well,
Boggs had to
He-
throw
he-
Gunyon out because of a parent.
Yeah.
the parent she was our team mom, and she wouldn't shut her mouth because her little boy got out on him.
Control your parents.
He goes, one more word out of you, and your coach is going out of the game.
Boggs,
Of
you're like
course,
me, man.
of
I'm
course,
quick on the trigger when
Of
I'm
course,
upping.
she has to say one more word. Stupid, but he let me come back for the next game. We had a doubleheader. I said, "Hey, can I come back for the next game?"
Did you look at him and say, "I'm sorry, Mike, but you're gone"? Did you even put "sorry" in there, or did you say you're gone?
Yeah. Hey, sorry, you're gone.
She was real apologetic. She didn't say anything the next game.
That's hilarious.
Well, Jay, tell me about that kid, though. We've been talking about it. We're going to shift gears here a little
Oh,
bit
the Pacers.
before we wrap it up. Yeah, who is that kid again? Because I'm thinking you're right about him.
Hold
Told
on.
me and Doug
I'm
about
gonna,
him.
I'm gonna
Mathurin.
tell you a couple stats here. So the Pacers are 4-5, right?
Okay.
82 games. I'm gonna predict they win 50 games this year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Halliburton's the leading scorer with 21 per
Okay.
game. Then some guy, even on their website they don't list, is averaging 20 points a game. He's a rookie that ESPN won't even pick up. I don't know why. His name's Benedict Mathurin, and he's the real deal spiel. Real deal. Because of him and Halliburton, I think we'll win 50. And that's a lot.
Now, what's our record right now?
4-5.
4-5. We got out of the gate.
There's
1-3
82 games, so I'm saying 50-32.
So we've been on a little bit of a winning streak lately. Well, that's good news. I'm a Pacer fan too.
Side note: the Bucks are 9-0.
The Bucks are 9-0.
Giannis is
Yep.
not messing around.
He ain't playing, is he?
9-0, bro.
Yeah, he ain't messing
It's going
around.
to be the Celtics and the Bucks again
Yeah.
for the East.
Tatum's
You
a
think
beast,
so?
man.
What's going to happen to Boston's coach? Is he going to go to a different team, or
He's going to go to the
Yeah, the
Nets.
Pacers are going to lose to the Celtics first round, by the way.
is
That's
he going to go to the
another prediction.
Nets?
Yeah, he's going to the Nets. Be
Is that already a done deal? Or?
Who?
Be more that.
I think I did hear something about
Oh,
mean,
the
okay.
coach? Oh, yeah, he's going to the Nets.
You think Kyrie's done with the net at the Nets?
No.
He needs to be out of the league, but yeah.
I just don't understand. I mean, I really don't understand.
He's part of the woke culture that they can't shut their mouth.
He's just a problem everywhere he goes.
You don't have to. You don't have to spread your opinion on.
Yeah, you could be the
Everything.
greatest, but if you're a
At that level.
detriment, I don't know. I just don't like his attitude. Prima donna. I
He's
don't
a
like
problem
those.
everywhere he goes. Yeah.
I did. I went to the Pacer game, watched them play.
I don't think what he did
Oh,
was
you
bad.
did the other
though.
night, didn't you? Well, yeah. Give me 2 cents.
You gotta
Give
go-
me 2 cents.
Yeah, you got to be able to watch them play to really give.
I agree with that.
And
Talk to me.
Well, I watched him, the guy that Jay talked about, and I really enjoy watching him play. He's a shooter. He's not afraid to shoot. Billy Hill, I think
Buddy Hill.
Buddy, thank
Buddy
you.
Hill.
He did really well in the first half. Second half, it seems like he gets I ain't gonna say a bit nervous. Maybe he's getting guarded better because he put up 22 in the first half, but then he had 3, I think, in the second half. But that 0-0, that Mathurin,
Yeah.
is man.
real
He,
deal, isn't he?
oh, dude, he came down.
Got ups?
He's blocking shots.
If we
dude.
can-
He's smacking stuff off the backboard. It was nice. Now the other thing that I thought looked good, which was Miles Turner, who I have always been critical of, but watching the game and hopefully he can grow more and more into this role. He actually played like he was 6'11".
I like
Because we got
He
3
didn't look like
scores
he was
now.
6'5".
I like Miles
Well,
Turner.
maybe these guys' chemistry's a little bit better with Turner.
Well,
That's
Name-
exactly what it is.
It
but I
is.
still agree that if we were trade Miles Turner for a real big, now we're talking 60 and 22.
I like Miles Turner.
I'm gonna give him a
So
run.
let me ask you guys this: I'm not
I'm
a
gonna give
Pacer.
him a run.
I'm not a Pacer fan, but what do you guys think about the deal that was pretty much I guess a done deal, and then it got pulled out on the Pacers and the Lakers trade in the offseason? They were
Why did he get pulled?
What was the deal again? Remind me.
So,
Is it the Westbrook thing?
yeah.
That's
so,
why.
So the Pacers were going to get Russell Westbrook, and
Thank
they were
God we didn't.
and they were going
Right.
to send Miles Turner and Buddy Hield to the Lakers.
Right,
Ooh.
For him?
right. He's no
Ooh, I'm
way.
glad we didn't make
He's one of
that.
those paper
And I'm
play-
not a hater of him.
No, he's had his time. He's just not that guy.
He's
no
going to
more.
go down in NBA history for the most triple doubles ever.
Yeah,
He's not a bad guy, but
well, he's not that guy.
his
no
chemistry,
more.
his chemistry sucks. There's a
good
reason why you don't
player
have a ring.
on a bad team. He's a good player on a bad team.
No,
Yeah.
I think he makes a team.
No, that's
bad.
who. But that's who he wants to be. I agree with that.
He has the same problem Carmelo Anthony and Iverson had.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're really good, and you need to be the star,
I agree.
which will never get you a ring. Because in real life, you're a number 2 guy.
Yeah.
And they can't
But-
accept that.
Well, you have to. You don't have to be a number 2 guy. You just have to share.
Klay Thompson knows he's not number
point
1,
that
and that's why they
you're-
win.
If Russell Westbrook's your best player, you're not winning a
No,
championship.
I agree.
Yeah. But the deal didn't get done because the Pacers were going to take Russell Westbrook and they wanted 2 first-round draft picks from the Lakers, and the Lakers wouldn't give up the 2 first-round draft picks.
Thank
That's-
goodness.
Well, Buddy Hield's going to go down and score in 20 a game, too.
My opinion on Golden State, though, and I'm pretty sure you guys agree with me, when Clay went down and they went through their little Durant left, they went through the little 3 years of, hey, we got to work with what we got and let's try to build it and get stronger until those guys get back. I think that was critical for Golden State. They're on fire. They had 3 years of let's try to get better, and now their cavalry came back.
You know they've lost 6 in a row, don't you?
Well,
Yeah. Right.
They don't.
no, okay, Jay, edit that out.
No, but here's a perfect example. That wouldn't even worry me if I was Steve Kerr.
No.
Because we're Golden State.
Yeah, exactly.
We have 4 rings to prove it.
I never
Yep.
worry about Golden
Yeah,
State.
if you're the Lakers, you need to
I
be
watch
worried
the
about
Pacers, and
Me
what
too.
are we doing? Are we able to compete?
You should
Are
watch
we-
Golden
he
State.
said
It's
if
I
pretty
could
fun.
care less about Golden State. I
pretty
mean, I
fun.
really could. I really could. I don't
Yeah,
follow.
I
them.
think
I'm
that's
trying-
one thing that
if
me and you, Doug,
we can't sit here and compete against Golden State.
you know,
We're not there.
No,
and-
we're
and
not.
We've got to develop a team here, then go compete. But
Every-
but don't emulate Golden State
everybody's their own
No, you can't emulate them.
person.
because you're not going to have
But that's
Curry.
one thing
Nobody has Curry.
that I'm
but
real
them.
headstrong on. Like you, John. It's hard for me. I just don't understand it, but everybody, like I said, is different. If you're from Indianapolis, I'm just one of those guys, man. Whatever team's here, who's I'm with.
Yeah, that's how I am too. But John was saying earlier.
But John's a Dallas Cowboy fan.
That's
He's a
not-
Boston Celtic fan. And
Well,
But
who's your
John
baseball
knows
team?
John knows all the bandwagoners.
There
is a lot of
I
bandwagoners
like the
here.
Reds and I like the Phillies. I was a big Pete Rose guy, so Pete Rose was on the Reds
Okay.
and he went to the
Okay,
Phillies.
yeah.
So I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm loyal to my teams. I stay with
Yeah,
the same
at
team.
least
so when
always
you was a
been
kid,
always.
you was with Dallas.
When I was a kid, I was a Cowboys. There was no Colts here,
right.
and I wasn't switching my team.
We was either Dallas or Pittsburgh.
So
I was New England
Even back then?
even back, and you know why?
Steve Grogan.
One reason when I was a kid that I was a New England fan.
What was that?
Still, this reason, it was my favorite logo.
You
guy-
like
that
little,
guy
the
hiking
little
ball?
Patriot guy hiking the ball was my favorite logo. So I went with that as a kid because I was, young. I didn't know Grogan from. I
You
didn't
know,
follow it like that. but I was like,
Indianapolis,
that's the best.
Promoted
Logo.
back in the day, because we didn't have a team, obviously. They promoted, it seemed like they promoted Washington a lot in this marketing area. But he's either a Bears fan or a Dallas fan or a Pittsburgh fan, it seemed like.
Yeah, or Raiders maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I was a
Who's you, Gunyon?
For me, growing up, it was the Bears, the Green Bay Packers, and the Dallas Cowboys. Bob Hayes was one of my favorite players of all time, the fastest man in the world at one time.
Yeah.
But I always loved those games between Dallas and Green Bay. They were always good games.
I got it.
And Green Bay and Chicago.
Yep.
I love watching Butkus play. Gale Sayers, if I was picking any running back ever, Gale Sayers would be my running back.
see. I think the best running back ever was Walter Payton.
Well, Walter's pretty good too.
Yeah.
I think you could probably have pretty good
There's
arguments there.
there's quite a few cats that came
But
through and played.
And then I'm a
All
Celtics fan because I was Larry Bird's from Indiana. I was a huge Larry Bird fan.
So that's when you went there.
and he went to the Celtics. So
Yep.
that was right as I was growing up and started watching basketball. So
That was a hell of a move picking him before he graduated.
yeah,
Yep.
You know,
Red
that-
Auerbach was
yeah.
a genius. Yeah,
And to show my loyalty to my home team, I used to have to go to the Pacer game and root for Chuck, the rifleman.
person.
I did not root for Larry Bird.
You did.
Now, when he wasn't playing the Pacers, go do it, player. Indiana, I'm proud, Indiana guy. But you know what?
I was the same way.
You're not literally doing anything for Indiana right now.
Right.
Right, and I'm not about history. I'm about what have you done for me lately, right? So when he went there, I was like, shit, player. you know, congratulations, man. And yeah, would I have taken you? Absolutely. You or Magic, man. That was a no-brainer, right? That was a no-brainer. And you know what? The best part about it is they both went to the team they should have went to. Magic was ready for showtime. Larry was ready for go time.
Yep.
And it brought it just the NBA was fantastic at that year. And then Jordan came along and
Took the NBA to a different level.
and he made the NBA
Which
great.
Magic and Bird probably saved it,
They did.
but Jordan took it to another
elevated.
level.
There was a lot of players. I think there was one really underrated player, and you probably might not agree, but I think you'll think he's a great player, Bernard King.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
He helped. He came at a time, and
Oh.
he got injured. But Bernard King was one of the greatest small forwards I've ever seen. He could score on anybody.
Freddie Lewis.
I know you gotta. Bernard King in the playoffs had broken finger, had two fingers taped together on both hands. 55 points back-to-back game.
Wow.
Broken finger on each hand.
Well, guys, I think we could probably talk another hour, no problem. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. And I just want to thank you, Johnny, for being here. Really appreciate
I
the
appreciate
talk.
you having me. Yeah.
Mike Gunyon, thank you, sir.
Well, thanks, Bob.
And Jay, thanks for having us again, obviously.
as
And
always.
my buddy there. Always
Yeah,
with me.
I like to thank these guys for what they do. You know, you too, Bobby. You know what I mean? You guys, that's you know, getting to know you guys. I've known you my whole life. So Gunyon, I've gotten to know probably in the last 6 months better. John just met, but what you guys do out there, man, is changing things, right? And good for you guys, man. God bless you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. I
Appreciate it.
appreciate
Bobby.
it.
Appreciate that.
Well, until next time, we'll see you around.